Well, excuse me, nothing happened as far as we know last night. The accident about, I believe, about 3:30 yesterday afternoon is another tragic occurrence. I think that we can perhaps be expected in any state, any city, in any town in our nation where you have a small minority of each race who are determined to, it looks like, to just head straight into violence, into chaos and disorder. It's a tragic thing, and of course there's no excuse whatsoever for the shooting of any individual. I'm not completely fresh on my law, but I remember enough of it to know and to be able to say that shooting another person with a pistol when you're being attacked with nothing but your fist is inexcusable, and there's no defense. Our state police were there. I don't think that it could have been prevented. We'd had 5 times as many as we had because they were there so fast and so quick that they actually caught the man with the pistol in his hand. Colonel Burbank tells me that our state police were within about 30 feet of it when it started. They just bang, 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 and it was over. And if we'd had twice as many, we doubt if we could have stopped it. As I say, when you have people going around armed, whether they're white or colored, an incident that will incite them and arouse them, it's just to be expected that someone's going to get hurt. It's an awful shame, too, because those people over there, the white and the colored, who are determined to have violence, who are determined to take the law in their own hands, represent such a very, very small, minute minority of the total population of each race in our state. And I just know that the overwhelming majority of the colored people of our great state of Louisiana condemned the act over there yesterday just as much as the white people do. Let it be said for the colored people in Bogolusa that as of yet, Young and Sims and those group over there who say they're such great men have not been able to get a single solitary teacher or preacher or any other colored person in that community of any education whatsoever to join them in their demonstrations and their marches. Their determination to get what they actually don't know. That the demands they made on the mayor yesterday were things that the mayor, most of them, the mayor had no control over whatsoever. Employment up there in the paper mill. Employment in the stores. If the colored people would quit marching, quit demonstrating, the white people over there who are night riding and threatening would quit doing that, there's no question we'd bring complete peace to Bogolusa. I'm convinced bring a solution would be acceptable, as I say, the overwhelming majority of the people, white and colored. It's just a shame that it's like it is, but that's, I assume, what you have when you have a democracy, where you have individual and personal freedom or liberties. Because only in a democracy could these demonstrations and the counter-demonstrations take place. If it wouldn't occur anywhere else, they'd stop it immediately. But here we are, spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and hours of time that we should be used toward building our state, actually helping the colored and the white people. We having to spend it to keep peace between, I say, 2 very small minorities over there in that little paper mill town. It's a shame to all of us, but under our system of government, where we allow an individual to say or do just about anything he pleases, or a group of individuals to say or do just about anything they please, I guess there's nothing we can do about it. But they're doing nothing but hurting our state, hurting the town, hurting the entire nation. Yes, sir.
Governor, your remarks that extremists on both, that's what I wanted to ask you about. That implies that there are probably no legitimate issues involved here, and that just 2 extreme factions on either side.
I think it's more that than anything else. There's no complaint there about schools aren't going on. They weren't, when school was going on, they weren't demonstrating about integration of the schools. They haven't demonstrated about denial of voter rights. Interested in helping the colored people and helping their plight in Bogolusa in this state. They would get with the responsible, intelligent colored leadership of Louisiana. See a weapon, we're going to put him away. Third offense. What's that?
Don't we have laws against inciting a riot or something?
Oh yes, we have laws against inciting a riot, but Very difficult to prove because the deacons and Young's group claim that they just want to march. You know, ain't right. We don't know what we're going to do over there this afternoon if they insist on marching. We'll just have to approach it when we get to it. We don't think they should. The mayor's called Young and urged him not to have any march this afternoon. He said, you can't possibly help your people by having any march here.
Considering martial law.
What's that? What's that? No, I'm not considering martial law. I don't think if we had the militia there would help one bit. We've got to have about half our state police force there, and we'll send the rest of it there if we feel like we need it and we think that's sufficient.
We've been reading through the mayor's trip and thinking of banning marches at least in this federal corridor is done. You've been in contact with him on that?
Talked to the mayor three or four times this morning. And we're attempting to make a decision on that now. We're asking Young, if he will, to call off the marches until this thing quietens down over there. We're starting off with that procedure, asking him not to have the march. If he refuses and insists on having the march, we don't know yet just what we will do. We'll make our decision between now and 2:30.
Governor,
Certainly will. We're hoping that that Young will call off his march, as any responsible citizen of this nation of ours would, white or colored, if they're interested in what he's attempting to do. What possibly good can he do by marching up and down there and getting somebody else hurt? Except to get his picture on television. He's a great man, and Sims bragged about how many people he shot. And you know, it doesn't take a brave man to shoot another man down when he's unarmed. Those people shot that poor deputy. What great, brave men. Shot him in the back first, the colored man, shot him in the back with a rifle, and then shot him with a shotgun. And that colored man yesterday. There's a white man, unarmed. He gets his pistol out. He's a great, brave man. Shoots him down. The white man's unarmed. It's nothing but cowards and trash. Riff-raff of the country. And it burns me up to feel like we've got to spend all our time, money protecting and dealing with that kind of riff-raff and trash. I say again, that's just democracy, and that's part of the evils, I guess, that go along when we have a democracy, and I think that all of our great governmental experts have said that there's been no better form discovered yet of government.
I was wondering if you feel the Negroes there have any legitimate grievances which, if negotiated, would result in an end to all this.
I think that their biggest complaint now, Charlie, is the complaint, I believe, the Crown Zeller back about employment there in the paper mill. And, of course, the civil rights law now covers that. And I'm quite sure that demonstrating in front of Crown Zellerback's plant's not going to help them. Crown Zellerback, the various labor disputes they've had the many years in the past, they're used to demonstrations. And I'm quite sure Crown Zellerback intends to obey the law and apply the civil rights law. They have no choice. And the proper and intelligent thing for them to do if they actually wanted to help themselves would be to talk with Crown Zellerback people, not march on City Hall and create a big disturbance, take a chance of people getting shot or killed. But I say that I don't think they're interested in that. They're interested in just what they got yesterday, except they perhaps had hoped it wouldn't be that serious, but they're interested in violence and trouble and chaos and excitement and a big time. Charlie?
Governor, you said something about cowards and trash and riffraff of the country. Who are you referring to?
Well, I'm referring specifically to that fellow Sims and Young and those people who killed that Negro deputy and the scum of the earth that's hanging around over there at Bogalusa now, the trash from all the streets and the dragons from these cities who are over there. No one, I think, doubts but what they're there. The FBI says they are. And 99% of this country and this state want to go to work and help our state and our country. And I say we've got to put up with that riffraff and trash.
You got anything to do with the shooting of that deputy? Anything else that's happened?
No, sir. I think that our people know who did it, but I don't think they want to announce it until they've got their case completed. Well, we arrested one suspect, originally, but no other arrests have been made. We think we know who did it, but we won't, before we make any announcement of the arrest, we want to be sure. But we think we know who did it. Our investigation is going right on in an effort to we're prepared to make our official report, official announcement. No, I do not. I wouldn't think it would be, I would say it wouldn't be any long length of time from now, but to pin it down, I wouldn't attempt to.
Any comment, Governor, on the rally here Sunday? I know there's calling cards.
Sure did. I got a few calling cards from the Ku Klux Klan. And various other and sundry organizations. I listened, of course, we taped everything they said. The FBI was sitting there, and we were there. The Colonel was there. We were.
I tell you. We don't want no fucking people here. That's right. We don't want no white trash in here. We got enough. If these outside niggas doing this, the ones who get outside get something. Go back. What about it? Listen, buddy. Oh, you're not worth pushing. That's all right.
We say a plague on both their houses. A plague on both their houses, those two extremist groups. The Ku Klux Klan and the Deacons for Defense, or whatever they call themselves, a plague on both their houses. If they would disband and go home and go back to work and leave things alone, we wouldn't have any trouble in this state and wouldn't have any in Bogalusa. Their demonstrations have been lodged up until a day or two ago because they couldn't get a job in those poor little pitiful country stores up there. And if they turned all the white people out of those stores and hired all the colored people, they still wouldn't have jobs. And it's just an effort to create violence, create chaos, create scenes that will get on television, national television and radio, and to get their picture taken. There's no question about that. If they were sincerely